How you guys doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Scott, I think you got to be proud of the improvements that your offense made. I realize it's only been 1 week, but when you went back and looked, are you able in a loss to still appreciate the progress, or is it one of those things we lost, it all sucks?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have the moral victories or whatever. You're very disappointed. I mean, we felt like we started out the game, we moved the ball, and then we just got to be able to finish in the red zone. I think it's a different game. We were able to get some touchdowns early. We would have gotten the lead or potentially been tied, you know what I mean, instead of then just constantly having to play from behind. But I was happy with the way the guys played. I mean, the guys really were, stuck with it the whole time. I felt like we were aggressive as far as just being like, aggressive coming off the ball. The yards after catch were really well. The quarterback did a nice job of, getting the ball out of his hand, which I challenged him to do. And we were efficient. We did turn them into touchdowns in the second half. We got to come out that first drive of the second half. We took the sack, and then we weren't able to overcome it. But on those 2 touchdown drives, converted 2 fourth downs, overcame 2 penalties. That's some stuff that we had some issues with. If there's a penalty, and obviously the sack got us on the other drive. But so it was good. I mean, there are definitely some positives. But I think like we could have started better or started the second half better, because we had an opportunity to take the lead a couple times and we weren't able to do that. And I think once getting the lead in this league is so important, and playing from ahead, and that's what we just got to do that and help our team.
How did the logistics and communication aspect of it go?
It was great. Yeah, no issues. I think Gardner did a nice job of getting the play for me and then getting it in on time. We didn't have any issues as far as like running low on the play clock that I can think of. The penalties, we had the 1 false start. I think Jackson just got tied because everyone went except for him. You know what I mean? Poor Jordan Meredith gets the penalty on his record, but they gave it to him for some reason. Everybody moved. But yeah, we had that one, and then we had the OPI that was kind of bang bang play. So I felt like it was a clean game as far as that goes. The sacks, we got to clean those up, but we had 3 of those, which I think we could have avoided, for a couple different reasons. But yeah, no, I think the logistics of getting the play in, the operation, everything like that went very smooth.
On the broadcast, they had quite a few shots of you, calling plays, and your dad there by your side.
Yeah, my daughter said, my daughter's 8, but she's basically like 20, and she was like, I got back after the game, she's like, Dad, they showed you and Papa too much. I was like, thanks Rose, appreciate it.
What was that experience like for you though?
It's great. We've coached together, but I was always on the field and he was in the box. So just sitting next to him in the box, being able to talk in between series, get what he thought. It was really good. It was a cool experience. I didn't. We talked about this last week. I didn't think we were going to ever coach together again. So this is kind of like a bonus deal. So yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it much at the time, other than like I'm getting great information. But when you reflect back on it like that, it was it was pretty cool.
Scott, can you go back to what you mentioned about the O-line and the fact that you're facing the Denver Broncos defense, who's like top in the league when it comes to sacks? How difficult is that challenge?
Yeah, it's I mean, they're flying around on defense. They got a lot of different guys that they try to create matchups for that can get to the quarterback. And pass protection isn't always just about the offensive line. I mean, the receivers have to get separation. The backs have to do a great job of either helping or getting open. Same thing with the tight ends. Like if we have them chip or if they get open and route, like they got to get separation so we can get the ball out of our hand. The quarterback's got to make quick decisions. I talked about how I thought Gardner did a nice job of that in the Miami game. But that's like that, and then we got to block them too. Like obviously that's the thing that gets focused on. But it's pass protection and keeping the quarterback upright. It's a total team stat, And quarterback's got to get the ball out of his hand. But in order to do that, people have to be, get open. It's on me as well to, try to design things so we're getting guys open. But no, you can't. You don't want to hold the ball against this group. We're going to have some certain things to try to take advantage of what we think are good matchups for us. But no, we got a lot of respect for their team, for their Vance Joseph and their defense and what they've done, and you've seen them getting better every week, which is to me a sign of a good team.
It was your first week scheming things up for Brock Bowers. Is there anything that he's not capable of doing?
We'll find out. We'll just keep trying things and then see if he can't do it. No, I mean obviously he's a great player, and I complimented him the other day just on his approach, day to day, and You know, he has a great process as far as getting his body and his mind ready. He's the type of player you tell him things, give him one correction once, he never makes the same mistake again. Obviously, you see like the athleticism, the size, strength, speed, and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, Brock's a great player, and he's going to continue to be a focal point of what we're trying to do.
Is 16 targets was that the design?
No, I mean, we're going to try to throw to him a lot. You know, we threw the ball probably more than we wanted to. A lot of that had to do with, the way the game goes. Every game's different. And then, we just had some things, obviously, there's a comfort level, and, he was open, so Gardner threw it to him.
We tried to get Zamir White going early on. What did you see in his carries?
We had a couple deals where they gave us a couple unscouted looks up front. There was a little color, and I think, that kind of took him off some of his tracks a little bit. I thought he was physical, ran the ball hard. We just couldn't quite get him going there.
When Joe Philbin sat down with AP before you guys gave him the O-line coach, he talked about one of the things that stood out to him was communication. That was visibly more active on the offensive line. How happy were you with the degree of it? It was improved. Was it as much for you? Do you want more? What did you think of week one?
I think we always want more. We had a couple plays where we could, again, like they gave us a couple unscouted looks where your rules have got to take over, and we could have been possibly better in those instances. But it was, it was definitely better. I mean, Jackson does a great job as the center, kind of leading the charge that way. And we just got to keep growing in that aspect. I mean, we talked about it last week as well. Guys got to talk, and it's a two-way street. It's speaking, and then you have to listen as well, and I think we're going to continue to make strides there.
We know how big of a blessing it is to have your dad's experience over your shoulder, but how about to have Joe Philbin?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, just getting to know him over this last, almost year, when you talk about last offseason, obviously such a great coach, been, offensive coordinator, head coach, offensive line coach. He understands coaching and teaching, and just watching him, obviously his roles changed a little bit, but watching him as a teacher, just in meetings and on the field, it's really impressive. And the guys really are seeming to respond to it. His focus is like, he tries to make it as simple as he can. It's about pad level and, and getting your hat placement and leverage and running off the football, and then obviously the scheme comes into that. But if you're not doing those other things, then you don't have a chance. And I think he does a great job communicating that with our guys.
You guys went to play action first play of the game. There was a lot of early down play action, especially first down play action in the game. Was that a conscious thing that you wanted to do? And what does that do for the offense?
I think we're gonna, like I said, every game's different. So every game, you're gonna have a feeling of how you want to approach the other team. I would have liked to run the ball probably more than we did, but like I said, the short passing game was pretty good. We were getting the ball out. Guys did an outstanding job of run after catch. So it kind of just went that way, and we just kind of kept it going. We were able to move the ball. Also, because of the limited possessions, the time was a little factor, so we didn't want just the clock to continue to run. So I think, based on who we're playing, you're going to see it. You're going to see a sliding scale, but yeah, we like to throw the ball and get it in our playmakers' hands and get the ball to guys. I think we have guys that feel like are pretty good in space. So if we get the ball in space and make people tackle them, and it makes the defense cover the whole field.
It's a little hard to guess what the health of the running back room is going to look like, but just what you've seen in the last couple of practices from Amir and Sincere and Dylan, how much confidence do you have in those guys to step up?
Yeah, I mean, even throughout all OTAs and training camps, those guys have done a great job. And I think, when you're a professional football player, you always got to be ready, and you never know when your opportunities come. And I don't know if that's going to come now. I mean, we'll leave that up to the trainers. But no, if that's the route that we got to go, I'm totally confident in those guys and their ability. Obviously, Amir has played a lot in this league. He's shown that he can do it. And then those other guys, they've put in the work and got better, and they're ready. They'll be ready for the opportunity if that happens to be the case.
Two more guys.
Last week was Michael Mayer's return from a long absence. How helpful was it to have him in this offense, and how did you feel about his performance?
It was great. He brings a lot of energy, physicality to the offense. He's just one of those guys everyone kind of likes to be around. And so just bringing that kind of juice, and then he's obviously a very good football player. And to compare, putting him on the field with Brock, it opens up Brock to do some things. It opens up him to do some things. He had two catches. One of them there was a penalty on them, and it was more beneficial for us to take the penalty. But again, I think he'll probably get the ball coming his way a little bit more. I think, first game back, I thought he played really well, but he'll probably come and tell you that he feels like there's some things he wanted to do a little better, and he will. I mean, you take a little time off, there's going to be a little bit of that.
Scott, you had receptions of 31 yards, 22 yards, 23 yards on Sunday. What did those chunk plays do for the offense's confidence?
I mean, it does a lot. I think, you not the offense, but the team too. Like, you look at the sideline when you watch the film and you see the guys react. And there's a lot of great people in this building. And, obviously we haven't won a lot, recently, and guys are just ready, I think, to kind of take that next step. So when that happens, I kind of think it gets people excited. And we had some great individual plays on those too. In Miami, they're the type of team, they're kind of got to put a tent on everything. They don't really let you get a lot. There's not a lot of explosive plays throughout the season, so we knew like some of those were going to have to be catch and run, and they were. But you see the guys just like if you go back and watch Alexander's screen, freaking Jackson like flips over and does like a whirly bird, and guys are flying down the field and they're excited for each other. And we're just trying to just build that attitude and culture where. And I think you're seeing it come out, and we just got to keep growing in that direction.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so
Scott.
much.
Thank you, guys. Come back.